All right. We have a lot to cover today, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Transforming Your Business with Skimmer. I'm your hostess, Nikki Acosta, and with me today, I have Jasmine Medrano, our Customer Success Manager, and Sarah Raff-Duty, our Account Executive. And we have never done a webinar like this, believe it or not, but we're going to give you a demo of Skimmer. So what are we going to talk about today? First, a few housekeeping items. If you would like to ask a question, you have a Q&A box that should appear when you hover over your Zoom toolbar. That's going to be either at the top of your screen or at the bottom of the screen, but you can ask questions there and they will go into a queue and we will try to answer as many as we can. Secondly, we will send this recording out to everyone who attended. So if you have to drop early, or if you missed something, have no fear. We're going to send this recording out tomorrow morning to everyone who registered. So what are we going to talk about today? First, we're just going to give you a brief about Skimmer. We're going to tell you what we're hearing from pool professionals, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of this thing, which are a demonstration of our web app and our mobile app. Finally, we'll cover some resources, and we'll try to tackle your questions submitted in the Q&A. So let's get started. About Skimmer. We are currently supporting, I think the number is closer to actually 29,000 pool service professionals, primarily in the US. And we are on a mission to empower you to build a great business. And we do that through support. We do that through our software, and we do that through webinars and great content aimed at helping you grow your business. We have heard from a lot of customers. We have a ton of reviews online, and there are some themes that definitely emerge from people who come to Skimmer. The number one word we hear is that, or I guess it's two words, is that Skimmer is a game changer. And we hear that really we've helped them alleviate a lot of the pains that they feel in running a pool service operation on a day-to-day basis. We hear that managing routes and repairs used to be a pain, that our techs really and our pros really love that Skimmer helps them hold their techs accountable. We hear a lot about how much was falling through the cracks, be it missed parts that were installed, things that you forget to bill for, repairs that need to be done, shopping list items that someone forgot to pick up. We hear that a lot of our pros had no idea they were losing money on some of their pools, and we'll show you how that comes into play here when we do our demonstration. Finally, we hear about people spending too much time on billing. Everybody loves to get paid. Nobody loves to sit down and do invoices at the end or the beginning of the month. And if you think that you're too busy to implement software, we hope we can change your mind today. So what does Skimmer do in a nutshell? The best way that I like to explain it is that Skimmer bridges the gap between what's happening in the office, what's happening in the field, and your customers and your pool owners out there. Everything that is done and tracked in Skimmer is logged and part of a permanent service record that is digitally available to you and stored in the cloud whenever you need to look back at it. And this is a good way to cover your rear end, to make sure that you have documentation. If you're doing pool startups or if you have an insurance claim, it's a good way to be able to track chemistry readings in a place that is going to be accessible when you need to access it. We also take all of that data to provide real-time reporting. So anything that you do in Skimmer in terms of any chemical that's used, anything that needs to be tracked as far as what needs to be billed for, all of that gets put into Skimmer and turned into reports and tools that can help you make billing a snap at the end of the month. Our users, what we hear most of all is that their employees love it. We get a lot of customers because techs leave a company and go to a new company that doesn't have Skimmer, and they tell their bosses, dude, we got to get Skimmer. Increased profitability. When you are actually able to see what you're making on every pool, it gives you a little bit more encouragement to raise your rates or make adjustments. And as a result of Skimmer and the tools that we have to communicate with customers, customers are happier and more loyal. So it is time to show you the web app. And for that, I am going to turn it over to Sarah. Sarah, this is all you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nikki. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. If I can just get confirmation that y'all can see that, that would be great.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much again, Nikki, for kind of walking us through that. And like she just mentioned, I'm going to go into the web version of Skimmer. We're also going to go through the mobile version. So I'll be referencing that a little bit. But primarily right now, I just want to show you kind of the admin view, the people that are doing the scheduling, the billing, whatnot. This is what it's going to look like for you. So we're going to start over here looking at our customers over on the left-hand side. You can see I've got all these different tabs. We're going to start with customers and kind of work our way down. So starting off with our service rates, this is a great way that you can actually bulk update all of the rates that you have your customers under, things like per stop plus chems, per stop with chems, per month with chems, or per month plus chems. But obviously, if you have different customers on different rate types, you can also go ahead and manually change that as well in here. Same thing with labor cost. If you're doing per stop or per month, this is an area where you can actually bulk update that for all of your customers. Let's go take a look though at one of our customers here. So I'm going to look at Bruce Banner. You'll see up here at the top, I've got profile, photos, and then 2 bodies of water. So what's great about Skimmer is that if I have an area or a location that has multiple bodies of water, I can have those all living within one customer profile. Very comes in handy, you know, if you're ever doing like a hotel or an apartment or somewhere that just has a lot of different bodies of water, you can have those added in up here and they'll still live within the same customer profile. Let's take a look though at what we can kind of edit and what we can customize here for your technicians, because a lot of this is again going to be the back end, but the whole idea being that we get this info saved on the back end so that it's easier for your technicians in the field. And again, we're going to look at that when Jasmine takes a look. One thing that I'd love to have kind of updated here is our customer code. So this is again going to be what shows up in that parentheses right here. So it'll be one of the first things that your technicians see, kind of something that should be very hard to miss, right, is the idea. So example here, chems only, no clean. But let's say they've got a really aggressive dog or they need to be texted before you guys get there. It's a great place where you can make sure that that's not going to be missed by your technicians. Zooming down over here, we also have this great feature called tags. I personally think it's one of our most underutilized features. I think it's fantastic and really allows you to segment your customer base just to make sure, like Nikki said, that you're looking at your business from a holistic view and you're seeing, for example, where are your leads coming from? This is a great place where you can put in here Facebook or customer referral or marketing ad. That way you can take a look. Well, is the money we're spending in marketing on this particular thing driving results, or is it something that we should be maybe putting some more money into something else? But obviously can be used for things like seasonal customers or specific pieces of equipment that you want to kind of filter for. Even the day that they joined your business, if it's, you know, you want to say what year they were acquired. All of that can be saved. So then when you send emails, when you run reports, when you do invoicing, you can filter again for those specific people. Let's go ahead and move on down to our service location here. This is another area where you can really make those customizations to make your technicians' lives easier. So things like gate codes or dogs' names seem silly, but can be very helpful, I know, in the field there. You can also update rates and whatnot through this screen as well if you're, changing anything or just want to customize it a little bit more. And same thing with notes. Any notes that are going to be helpful to your technicians that you want them to be able to see, we can have saved in here. So that way, again, mitigating more communication that can be kind of just automatically streamlined for your technicians. That's kind of the name of the game here. Let's move over to photos. So these are going to be the photos, and Jasmine's going to show you in a little bit, like I said, what this looks like on the mobile version. But these can be photos you can have added in that are going to be saved on that customer profile. So where can that come in handy is obviously just having a bulk photo of a location can be very helpful. How the gate works, if there's kind of an interesting setup that they need to kind of know, you can have that saved in here. And then also the equipment types that are being used. This can be super helpful if, for example, you have a customer call in and have a specific question about their equipment. You don't have to now send someone out to take a look at it, to figure out what part it is or what specific piece they're talking about. You can just take a look right here and you have it all at your disposal. These can also have captions edited, as you'll see on there, so you can really make sure that everyone knows what they're looking at. Let's move over to a body of water so you can see kind of what we can customize within here. So obviously we'll have the baseline info like the baseline filter pressure and gallons for that body of water that can be updated, but you can also save the exact type of equipment. Similar to you just saw on the photo screen can come in handy, like I said, if someone's calling in and asking about a specific part or piece that you've got it installed for them. But what's really cool in here, I think, is that you can also add any notes like warranty info, install dates, instructions for that specific piece of equipment. So again, kind of taking it a step further than just being route management or chem tracking. This is getting nitty gritty all the way down to the equipment that you're using and making sure that nothing's fallen through the cracks there. Now, let's say that you guys have a particular pieces of equipment or parts or chemicals that you're using. All of those can be added into the Skimmer system with the pricing that you currently charge for those. And it's super easy, as you'll see here, to just add those on to your customer. So let's say, for example, we know Bruce Banner here, let us know that we're going to need a floater. Theirs is broken. We can add that on here, update the quantity, update the price. We'll save that. Now, what's fantastic is that when your technician next time is going to this location, they're going to get a pop-up reminding them about that piece of equipment. Again, whole goal here is we want to make sure that nothing's fallen through the cracks. No parts, no pieces, no chemicals are not getting charged for when you guys are installing them for a location. And then once they install it, they'll simply swipe it. And again, we'll take a look at that on the mobile version as well. But then when you go to invoice, guess what? It's right there with the service date, all accounted for. Finally, down here at the bottom, our service checklist. So you're going to have a generic checklist that is still going to be customized by you all for all of your pools, basically everything that you want to make sure your technicians are doing. But that doesn't necessarily cover all of your bases, right? Because what if you have a specific customer that likes to make sure you do one extra step? Or I always use this example because it gets brought up time and time again when I'm talking to people, and that's locking gates. Some people leave their dogs outside. If the gate's not locked, there's obviously the risk of them running out. So we want to make sure we're covering all our bases there. I can go ahead and click add here. And what's great about that one is I can actually make it required for a photo to be attached as well, just to prove and to show that for sure our technicians locked that gate when they left. And again, Jasmine's going to kind of run us through that as well. I'm going to move over here to our route builder. So this is going to be a super quick, easy, efficient way for you to just get your routes on your schedule. All I'm going to do is basically choose my technician and the day of the week. So let's go for today. You'll see here it'll pop up with all of my pools that I'm servicing for the day and a nice map view so I can see where everything's at and see if something's a little too far out of that distance. Let's go ahead and add somebody else on. I'm going to go to Katie Kennedy. And you'll see here I can add the frequency. So are we doing weekly, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks? We'll leave her on weekly. And then we've got a start on and a stop date. This is super helpful if you are a seasonal, kind of in a seasonal area, or you kind of only service for certain amounts of dates. So this way you don't have to remember to stop their service on a given day. If I give an end date, that's when the service will stop. It'll no longer be on my schedule for that next week. For this example, we'll just leave it as no end. We're going to keep servicing them. So that got added onto my schedule. I can see it now in the map view. But let's go ahead and optimize my route. This is a super, super helpful kind of addition to your route builder. You can do this from multiple screens as well, and I'm sure Jasmine's going to kind of walk you through just how that looks on the map, or sorry, on the web app version. But let's go ahead and take a look at the different options here. So I can either build my route or optimize my route around the addresses I already have saved there. But what if my techs usually start from an office or from a supply store? You can also have that built in here as well. So let's say they always start from the office, but then they're always going to end. Actually, it makes more sense, right, for them to start from a supply store so they can get all of their parts and pieces for the day and end at the office. I can now click this and it's going to optimize my route. You can see right there, my time went down. It made sure I wasn't driving all over the place. It's going to be the most efficient possible. Of course, though, you can always, as with Skimmer, you can always customize too. So you can drag and drop those route stops around as well. Let's go over to the route dashboard. So this is going to give us a good overview screen of all of your technicians, where they're at during the day, also the week. I mean, I can click around there as well. But this is super helpful just so you can see what's happening with any given technician during your day. So here you can see all of my technicians in a line here and all of the pools that they're servicing for today. Let's go over to Kaylee because I can see here she's finished 2 route stops for the day. And I'm also able to see how long she was at those route stops. So 2 minutes there, that was a pretty quick one, but obviously I went through and was just kind of clicking through these today. I can click into this info buff button as well, excuse me, and see exactly the time that she was there, all of the readings, dosages, completed checklist items, and any emails that were sent, which we'll go through a little later on here. But this can be helpful if you have a customer that calls in and wants to know kind of what was done today, or if someone came by and what time. You have all this right here. You don't necessarily have to bug your tech while they're out in the field, servicing more pools. Now, let's say, for example, that Chuck here let me know he's sick. He's not going to be able to service his pools for today. I can click these little 3 buttons here, and with a couple clicks, I can move all of these to another day, to another tech, or to both. So you can see up here at the top, we can do a one-time move or we can do a permanent move. We'll leave it on one-time move, but let's say, again, I want to even split it up. You can just check mark which ones you want to split to go to different technicians or to different days. Super easy again, and this way we're making sure that no one's not getting serviced and that all of our routes are being accounted for. Again, if we just chose a one-time move, next week it's going to look exactly the same. Nothing will change for our schedule. Now, what about those one-off jobs, the things that aren't necessarily going to be weekly or every couple weeks? These are things that come up like repairs, filter cleans, openings, closings. So you can add work orders directly from a couple different places. You can add them from this screen right here. You can add them from the customer profile. You can even add them. We have a whole work order section on Skimmer. Let's go ahead and just click on this button here though, since we're already here. All of these that you'll see here can be customized by you all. So you'll go ahead and set up which work order types you're currently doing. Some people like to be a little more generic with them, get more specific in the notes, and some people like to make very specific work order types for their technicians. Let's go ahead and add a filter clean. Actually, we'll do a repair today. Keep it there. I'm going to add a repair for Bruce Banner for today. I'll say we need a repair. I'm going to add this onto Kaylee's schedule. You can see here, all of this is going to be pre-saved by us, the estimated minutes, labor cost, price, etc. But we can always edit it from here as well if we need to. Let's go ahead and add that onto my schedule. So now we'll see that on Kaylee's schedule for the day. And it's always going to have that barcode so that your technicians know that this is not going to be those regular servicing jobs. This is going to be a work order. Those can also have specific checklist items, specific products associated with them, just so that way, again, nothing's falling through the cracks. I'll say it time and time again, but that's super important to us. Now, what about if you want to make sure that that's going to be recurring? Because a lot of times, right, you're doing work that maybe is every 3 months, every year, every 6 months. And you want to make sure that, if we've got a filter clean to do, we want to make sure we're doing it, right? So that we can get paid for it and can get those profits. We have the ability within Skimmer, you can set those work orders to be recurring. So they'll actually populate over here under upcoming when it's about time for those to be due. So we'll go here and we can see there was a filter clean due for Ron Burgundy, last done in March, and looks like it's due again in 5 weeks. So that's on a schedule where it's going to repopulate again over a given period of time. So right from here, I can just create a work order, make sure that that's getting done and that that's not being left on the table. Let's go back over real quick to our route dashboard. And let's say back in my previous example, Chuck's not able to service his pools today. We want to make sure that his customers know that, right? So that they know they're not going to get, pool servicing. We'll be back tomorrow or the next week or whatnot. Go back to this little three dot icon, and I'm going to click email customers. This is going to take me over to our broadcast email function. So this actually is segmenting my customers already for me. It's got the date range and the technician that I wanted to make sure that I'm emailing that group of customers. We can also email all of our active customers for things like marketing purposes or any kind of scheduling that you want to make sure you're letting everybody know. And you can also do this for tags, which can be very helpful again if you've got all of your seasonal customers, for example, on here. And we want to let them know, hey, it's getting back to, it's April, it's that time of year again. Let's open up your pool. Call us in and we'll get you on the schedule. I can just go ahead and email all of those customers. That way I'm not bogging down all of my customers with these emails. It's just going to the ones that are applicable. Again, can also be done just for a date range. So I always use this example, but 4th of July, we just passed, although that was now about a month ago, which is crazy. But I can choose that day and I can go ahead and email all of my customers that were scheduled to be serviced on the 4th of July and just let them know that we will not be servicing their pool. One final thing from me, and then I will switch it over to Jasmine, but I did want to show a couple of the reports that we have built in. I know Nikki referenced that, and that's super important to us as well here at Skimmer, that you're able to see your business from a larger view and see areas where you can maybe make some more money. So we have a whole bunch of reports built into the platform. I'm just going to go through 3 real quick so you can see what those look like. We're looking right now at our invoicing report. At the top left, you'll see the last 3 months. So you can always quickly pull between those last 3 months. But over on the right, you can also choose any custom date range as well. So you can really make sure to customize these reports to be, showing you the data that you need to see. This is going to show us, and it's segmented by our customer. It'll show all of the stops, work orders, dosages, installed items, and then the total due, that total invoice that should be due. Let's click into one to take a look. This will show me again the route stops, what date was I there, all of the chemicals that I used, and then any installed items there at the bottom, along with the date that they were installed. Moving over, we also have a profitability report or a profit report. Same thing up at there on the top left and right to show you the kind of different date ranges you can segment for. But these are great. They're also going to be broken down by customer. So you can click into each customer, see the labor cost you have set for them and the rate. So you can see there what profit we're making. For example, here I have got a customer that's labor cost is going to be higher than the rate we're charging. So you can see here I'm actually losing profit on this customer. So this would be a great one where I can take a look and see, well, what kind of rate conversations can I start to have? Is it necessary now for me to maybe raise this rate for this particular customer to make sure that I am making profit? And same thing can be done for your chemical read. One other place that I wanted to show that you can kind of take a look at your chemical read. Over here under the chemical dosages, what's cool about this one is that it's actually going to be segmented based on technician. Which can be super helpful if you're trying to see how much your technicians are using chemicals and kind of see, I know a lot of times people will bring up that this has brought to attention that a couple of their techs are using way more chemicals than some of their other technicians. So from there, you can have a conversation, do some more training, make sure that those are all in line with your company's goals and that, again, you're making the money and you're doing the work and getting paid for it. That is all that I have. I know that was a lot, and believe it or not, I barely scratched the surface. There's a whole lot more that you can do with Skimmer, but I do want to pass it over back to Jasmine so that she's able to show you guys the mobile app a little more, and you can see a little bit of this in action. So I'm going to pass it over to her and stop sharing.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. I am going to start sharing my mobile app here shortly. So if you guys cannot see my screen, let me know. But you should be seeing my mobile app.
You are all good. We can see it.
Okay, amazing. All right, so now that you've seen the great things that we can do from the web, let's just take a look at our app side. So customer information is going to be at your fingertips. Right now, what we are looking at is my route dashboard. We are in an administrative view. So an admin, an owner is going to be able to look at all the technicians that they have for the day. They're going to be able to access customer information. And we're just going to walk through the tabs a little bit just to show you a little bit more about Skimmer. So I'm going to start, if we look at the bottom tab, all the way to the left side, I have a little person icon. I'm going to tap on that and it's going to take me directly into the customer's profiles. So I have my full customer list here. And just like Sarah showed us, you can add, edit information. You can search customers directly from the app. If you are out in the field, you have a customer call you, this is where you're going to be able to find any information or add any information to a customer profile. So if I tab into our first customer here, we're going to go with Alberto. I see I have his profile, his photos, pool, spa, his bodies of water available to me, any phone numbers or email address. If I needed to reach this customer, this is all available to me here. If I needed to edit any information from the field, so let's say I also needed to edit some information for his service location. Let's say he called and he let me know the new gate code. So we can edit that directly into here. I'm going to add that gate code. I'm going to tap save, and now that's going to be available for future use. Another great thing that we can do, we're going to go back to our route dashboard. So that's going to be the pin in the middle. I just tapped the pin in the middle, and at the top of the screen, we see our calendar. So for today, what it's showing me is how many technicians I have assigned, how many pools everybody has, and it tracks the progress as they go through the day. So if we're looking at, let's say, for example, my first tech for the day is Bree. Out of the 9 pools that she has assigned, she's completed 5. One of those has been skipped. I also see my tech Haley. Haley has completed 4 out of her 11 stops. And that just shows me, gives me a picture of where everybody is at for the day. If I tap into Bree's stop, it's going to show me exactly what customer was skipped for that day. I'm going to tap back and it's going to take me back to my route dashboard. And let's go through what I'm going to see when I'm completing routes. So I'm going to tap on my name. We're going to complete some routes for today. So the first thing that we see that pops up is our little clipboard with today's item. So as Sarah was mentioning, when you add an item or a product to the shopping list, your tech sees that first thing. So when they're opening the app for the day, they're going to see the items that are needed, and they're also going to see it if they tap into the customer's profile. For today, I don't need any products for any of my customers. But let's take a look at this screen. So at the bottom of the screen, I have a little check mark, and then at the bottom right, I have a little lightning bolt. So just like Sarah was able to optimize the routes from the web, I can also optimize the routes directly from my app. So if I press on the little lightning bolt at the bottom of the screen, I have a little option that pops up. So where do I want to start and where do I want to end? That little green button says choose defaults. So if I want to start it at a company address, or if I want to start it at a specific customer's house, I can choose here. If I want to start it at the office or at the shop and I want to end it at the office, I'm going to optimize this route and it's going to optimize directly from the app. So now let's take a look at, we're going to complete a route stop and then we are going to look at a few other things. So I'm going to tap into Tony Stark, first customer of the day. Any recent activity that any chemicals that have been tracked is going to show up in my recent activity box. Then any pool information is going to show up here, and I'm going to tap into info. So any information that I need my technician to know, any gate codes, any service location notes, any profile photos of equipment that might be necessary for my tech to see is going to be on this tab. So this customer is on a platinum service. We have location codes here so that my tech knows exactly what's going on, access around the right side of the house. Autofill does not work. Homeowner maintains pool level manually with the hose. I have contact information here. And then it's important to note for technicians, if you maybe don't trust your techs with customer contact information, you can change that in your settings so that the mobile phone number or any phone numbers, any email address doesn't show up. So all they're looking at is any important information that they might need for that pool. So I'm going to go back into the pool tab, which is where we're going to complete our work. So if I needed any items for that day, I would see it under items needed here. When we scroll down, we have our checklist items, and this is completely customizable to what you do with your company. So whatever checklist items you guys complete on a daily basis, this is what you're going to be able to add here. Now, if you notice, the last checklist item is a little different than all the others. So this is when Sarah was explaining about making a service checklist item required. This is where that would come in. So I've required my techs to complete the close gate option or the service checklist item before they can finish a stop. So I'm going to go through, we're going to swipe right on these items. As we complete the stop, the tech is going to complete these items, and we're going to complete this last one to make sure that we can finish this stop out. We can also require a picture with service checklist items if we would like to. That way we take a picture of that closed gate. The tech, I know, and my customer knows when they receive that service report that my tech closed the gate. We're going to scroll down and we're going to get to our readings and dosages section. So any items that we're going to be tracking is going to be here. And once again, these values are completely customizable. I know in different regions, all these chemicals are going to vary. So we're going to go through and we are going to complete just a sample so we can go through our Orenda calculation. So I'm going to take some readings here. Just bear with me. And I know it's gonna vary depending on where you guys are located. This is just an example for you guys. We're gonna scroll down and then we see our calculator here. So I'm gonna tap on calculate. And let's say I wanna bring the pH down to 7.5. So I'm gonna scroll through the values here and I'm gonna take it down to 7.5. So now it's gonna tell me, it's gonna change this number and we're gonna tap on get dosage. And I have a few options here. I could do dry acid, muriatic acid, or sulfuric acid. I'm gonna tap on this dosage and I'm gonna apply the dosage so it automatically tracks that dosage in for me. I can then go in and add any other dosages that I might need to add for this pool at this visit. And then we're gonna keep scrolling down and I get down to a note section. So this is important if your tech needs to let you know, hey, something's going on. Let's say, for example, the tech notices that there is a leaky pump. I can tap into here. I'm gonna tap edit. We're gonna say leaky pump. And I'm gonna tap alert the office. What this is gonna do is this is gonna send an email with the customer information, the tech who wrote it, and that service note. It's going to send it directly to whoever set to receive the alerts in the office. And then I'll be able to go from there. Now, the last section I want to talk about on this side is our email box. So this is the message, the default message that goes out with your service report. So your pool is now sparkling clean. Thanks for choosing us to keep your pool looking great. But let's say I added a whole bunch of chemicals or there's something else that the tech needs to let the customer know. I can pre-save messages so that my techs don't have to type everything out. They can just come in here, look at some of the options I have. Let's say I want to keep this option and I want to say we left your pool in service mode. I'm going to tap save and now those two messages are in there. Nobody had to type anything out. They just got to choose it. And then we're going to take our picture. Let's pretend I'm in front of a beautiful pool. And we're going to use that photo and that's the picture that the customer receives when they are in the route stop or when they receive their service report. So I'm going to tap finish and now we see a little box pop up. So this is for service techs. With Skimmer, you have the power to send on the way, we skipped your stop, your route stop is finished, service techs. So this is asking me, do I want to let Wanda know that we're on the way? I can tap on the way or I can say not yet. Let's say I need to go to lunch, I need to stop by the pool supply store, whatever it may be. I'm going to tap on the way, let her know that we're on our way, and my customer is going to receive a text letting her know we're on the way. The last thing I want to talk about is the little check mark on the bottom of the screen. We're going to tap on that and the little message changes to move selected customers. So let's say I got a flat tire or I'm sick. I'm not going to be able to finish all my stops. So I can move my routes directly from the app. Let's say I'm going to tap on number 9, number 10, and now I have a little message that says move selected customers. I have 2 selected. I'm going to tap on that and it gives me the option for a one-time move or a permanent move. So let's say this is a one-time move. I'm going to move it over to myself for tomorrow. So just like that, my last 2 customers are moved over to tomorrow. And the great thing is that I don't have to worry about switching them back next week. Since I selected a one-time move, this is going to go back to its normal route for next week. Awesome. So I'm going to be switching back over really quick over to our other screen. So give me just 1 second. Can you guys see me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
you're all
okay.
set.
I'm back. Okay. All right. So remember how I said my customer's going to get that on the way text. So I just want to show you a little example of what that's going to look like. So if we're looking at our customer communication slide that Nikki has shared, the screenshot on the left side is what's showing us this is Clearpool Pools. We're on the way to your location. Give us a call if you have any questions. And you customer also has the option to stop, to text stop to unsubscribe. Then the example we have in the middle is an example of what that service email is going to look like for your customer when they receive that. Your pool is now sparkling clean, or whatever default header you guys have, whatever default messaging you guys provide, with a great picture of their pool or whatever other pictures were taken for that visit. And then the last example that we have here is an example of what that invoice is going to look like if you guys are billing through Skimmer. So your customer gets a review and pay little invoice message. When they click review and pay, they go into another screen and they can easily pay their invoice directly through Skimmer. So talking about invoicing, let's take a look at billing through Skimmer. So I'm going to be sharing my screen one more time. Skimmer gives you the power to invoice your customers in a few different ways. So if you bill at the end of the month, at the beginning of the month, or if you'd like to invoice on a specific date, you can do that as well. So
I'll stop my sharing so you can share your screen.
you should be now seeing my
Yes, indeed.
invoice generator.
Perfect.
Okay, awesome. So one of the ways that we can invoice through Skimmer is, as I mentioned, you guys can have the power to bill at the beginning of the month, at the end of the month, or if you guys want to do auto invoicing, this just means I want to invoice, let's say, for example, on the 5th of every month. You guys can set that up in your account, and every month for routine services, your customers will get invoices on the 5th of the month. I want to take you guys just through the invoice generator just to show you all the work that gets tracked through the app is going to come into the invoice generator all on its own. You don't have to create manual invoices for every single customer every month. You don't have to remember what was tracked, what products did we drop off, did we drop 3 Skimmer baskets off this week, or was it just 2? It's all tracked through the app, so it's all going to come into the invoice generator for you. So the example that we're going to be walking through is if I was invoicing at the end of the month. So you choose your bill from, your bill to dates, the date that you want those invoices to be due. I'm going to do include pool service, and I'm going to do include only invoice if a stop has been finished. So most of the customers, and another thing I just want to point out, I know Sarah talked about it just a little bit, was you can set up your customers if they are per month, per stop, with chemicals, plus chemicals. Everybody can be different. So if you have certain customers that you charge chemicals for, you have certain customers that chemicals are included, all of that is tracked through Skimmer, so you don't have to be adding, subtracting, multiplying anything at the end of the month. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to make sure that all customers are selected in this example. We're going to press continue. And then the first tab we see here is our pool service tab. So we're going to go through, if you want to make sure, I'm going to open one of these up so we can look at what that's showing me. So it's showing me that for customer Albert, it's going to do invoicing from August 1st to August 31st. And then I have a unit price of $175. If I had any chemicals, so let's take a look at Aria. So Aria has pool service, she has chemicals in here that we're charging for, and she also has products. All of these have pulled in with their price. They have pulled in, all of them are marked as taxable. So you can choose if you tax products, if you tax labor, if you tax chemical dosages, all of that can be set up in your settings. So let's say I went through, I made sure everybody looks great. We're gonna press save and continue. And our next page is our additional items page. So let's say you guys do a conditioning treatment every 6 months or every year, and we need to add it to everybody's invoice in bulk. This is a great place for that. Skimmer gives you the ability to add those additional line items without having to do it individually per customer.
Let's say I need to add a fee, I need to add a discount to everybody's invoice, I can also do that from here. We're going to press continue. And the last tab we see is our invoices preview page. So it looks like I've serviced 22 customers. I have 22 invoices up here. I have the option to click on details. It's going to show me a little breakdown of what exactly is getting charged for my customer Bucky. So this is kind of like what his invoice is going to look like. I can click on next and it'll take me to the next customers. I can click on back to invoices preview. And from here, I can easily generate these 22 invoices. If everything looks good to me here, I could click generate and send, and it'll automatically send these 22 invoices out to my customers. If I click generate, it's going to put them all in a draft form. So let's say I needed to edit or delete something from invoices, I can do that in the draft form and then send them all out. So we're going to click generate and send just so you guys can see what that looks like. It's asking me, do I want to send these 22 invoices by email? Yes, I want to send those out. So we generate and we send invoices. Awesome. So I'm going to press OK. Two last things I want to talk about is auto invoicing. And we're going to look at that just quickly down in settings under invoicing. We're going to go down to auto invoicing. So you can set up, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to invoice your customers on a specific day of the week or a specific day of the month, this is where you'd set that up. If you are doing for the previous month, it'll bring in all your previous month charges with previous month dosages if you guys are charging for chemicals, or if you want to invoice for the beginning of the month for the month ahead. Another option as well. A great thing about Skimmer is that you can also set up your customers for auto pay. So auto pay is going to trigger, if customers are set up on auto pay, it's going to trigger when you guys send out those invoices so that it makes collecting funds a lot easier and a lot faster. More money in your bank account a lot faster. And the last thing, if you guys are connected with QuickBooks Online, you guys have your products in there, you have customers in there. When you invoice through Skimmer, we have an integration with QuickBooks Online. So what that's going to do is that it's going to connect the account. You're going to invoice through Skimmer. You're going to collect payments through Skimmer, and all of that record of payment goes into QuickBooks for you. So you don't have to double entry anything. It's all getting put into QuickBooks for you. Awesome. So I'm passing the floor back over to Nikki.
All right. And while I'm pulling this up, one thing I wanted to note on that pictures section of the app, you can require your techs to take a photo. The really cool part about that is they can't game the system. They cannot upload a photo from their photo roll. It has to be a live photo. The other thing I wanted to mention is Skimmer works even if you don't have a cell signal. So what'll happen is you can just do your work in the field like you normally would. And we hear this a lot from customers who are in rural areas. And then as soon as you do have a cellular connection, it will upload all of that data. So even if you don't have a cell signal, you can still operate, and you can require your techs to take photos for specific items and of the pool, and they cannot upload those for their photo roll. We have had a number of customers, pool owners, call us and say, you know, I want to make sure that my guy was here. I didn't see him. They said they had pictures, but I think they're just uploading them from the photo roll. And we have been able to convey to those pool owners, no, there is no way to game the system. Like, you have to take the picture live while you're there. And it's just another good way to cover your rear and to offer that proof of service and confidence in knowing that you showed up and did your job. We covered billing and invoices. So let's talk about some extra resources. So in addition to the software that we build, we do a lot of things, or we try to do a lot of things to help you succeed. One of those things is a resource library. So in our resource library, which can be found at that nice address at the bottom, we have all kinds of tools, guides, and templates. If you want to raise your prices, if you want to know what service rates are in your area, if you want to do a service agreement and need a template for that, we have a number of resources, and we're constantly adding more here. If you ever have an idea of a resource that you'd like to see, let us know. We just launched a new marketing ebook that's pretty awesome. So if you want to check that one out, it's a free download. All of these resources are free. You can head on over to getskimmer.com/resources to make use of those. The next thing is our community. So earlier this year, we launched the pool deck. And it is a forum specifically for pool pros with the added benefit of having experts in there from other fields that support pool pros. So we've got a couple of accountants and bookkeepers and marketing experts who work exclusively with pool professionals who are there to answer your questions and help you out and provide you with tools and resources and guidance. We host workshops in there. We have contests in there. It's a really cool place just to kick back and be able to communicate with other people that are either in your area or all across the country. We also, Jasmine is really good at posting Skimmer hacks in there and tips and tricks, and you'll find that type of content there as well. And by the way, you do not have to be a Skimmer customer to join the pool deck. It is free for any pool professionals to join. We do want to just take an extra step and just make sure that we're verifying that you own a pool service company to prevent homeowners from entering that space. So there'll be some information that you need to fill out when you join, but usually we turn those around pretty quickly. And once you're in, you're in. Let's talk about our support. So we got a lot of resources, but we also have an award-winning support team. And it brings me great joy to talk about our support team because they're so awesome. Jasmine was on support for a long time. She's now on our customer success team. But we have a lot of folks who are well-trained. Every employee has to go do ride-alongs with customers, so we know exactly what they're dealing with. All of our employees have been to pool school, so they know what you're talking about when you call and you ask a question or have a concern about something not working right for you. They know the lingo. We have onboarding assistance when you first join. So there's a quick start guide immediately when you join Skimmer that'll take you through step by step on what to do to get everything enabled. We also have a really awesome tutorial library that has video instructions and written instructions. We have a customer import tool so we can connect to QBO, but if you're importing from a spreadsheet or something else, we can help you import your customers from whatever format that you have. And then if you get stuck, we've got live phone support. Next is our customer success team. So if you are servicing more than 100 pools, you will automatically have a dedicated named resource assigned to your account. And those folks are there to help you grow even more and help you out in your business on a day-to-day and give you kind of priority escalation service for any issues that you might encounter. You get strategic guidance. You get a quarterly business review. They can help you with implementation planning. So if you've got if you're a franchise or if you've got a couple different divisions in different areas and you need help rolling it out, they can create an implementation plan and help you get the ball rolling in a way that makes sense and gets you on your feet and running as fast as possible. And they can help you with configuration stuff too, like some of the things that we showed you today. If you need help, like setting up your tax rates or something like that, they're the resource that's going to help you get up and running and making use of Skimmer. Last but not least, our support team, again, is awesome. We're open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. We answer the phones live. We have an English line and a Spanish line. If you're the business owner, you can call us, but if you're a tech, you can also call us. We'll ask you to verify your account login, and we can support your techs so that you don't need to be caught in the middle if they're running into an issue. And we also have email support with a pretty quick response time. So if you ever just have a question and are thinking about it late at night or something, and you want to shoot that to us over in an email, we'll get back to you early the next morning. Hopefully this was helpful. I'm looking at questions here, and if any of you have specific questions, you can feel free to put those again in that Q&A section. We have a little booking code there on the bottom. We do contracts if you are servicing over 100 pools and you are, or if you're servicing 500 pools or 800 pools, we can give you discounted rates on contracts. If that's something that you'd like to discuss with us, with Sarah or Cody on our team, go ahead and scan that code and you can book a follow-up meeting. We will send all of these resources that we discussed out today, the slides, the webinars, the links to the resource section, the pool deck link. So look out for that email tomorrow. It'll take us a while to get this email or this video downloaded and uploaded and sent out to you. You mentioned that the techs themselves can call in. Are you able to see your client's instance of Skimmer? In short, are you able to impersonate such that you can see what they are seeing when they call in? Jasmine, you want to take that question?
Yes. So we will not be able to mirror or see exactly what you're tapping on or anything like that. What we're going to do is we're going to just ask you, okay, what are you looking at? Can you walk me through what you're seeing? And then we have an app on our phone as well, so we can see exactly what you guys are seeing. And if there's anything that we need, maybe a little more follow-up, hey, can you send me a screenshot? Can you get me a video grab? Just like to get to the bottom of what may be going on.
Great. Any other questions? Would you use work orders for pull openings and closings as we are more service-based? Do you want to take that one, Sarah?
Absolutely. Yes, that is definitely a great spot to use the work order function. Again, I didn't kind of go through all of the different options, but they are customizable to you. So it's really up to you how you're kind of handling those one-off or work order, like we call them. But that's a great place that you can make a pool open. And as we saw, you can actually set them to recurring. So that way you'll get them all again at the same time next year when you're doing those same service jobs for those customers. But absolutely.
Sean Miller asks, what are the fee rates if billing is run through Skimmer? I don't know them off the top of my head, but maybe one of you two do. I know they're published on our FAQ, on our resources, our billing FAQ in our help center. I think Suzanne's going to type out an answer for you. Thank you, Suzanne. They're absolutely competitive with QuickBooks. I know that.
And one other thing on that too to note, we also do offer rate analysis here at Skimmer. So that's something if you want to reach out to me, I know Nikki threw that on the screen, but I'd be happy to kind of facilitate that for you. So we can see what you're currently, being charged through QuickBooks, through any other service, and do our best to get you a great deal here so that, it all makes sense for you.
And it looks like Suzanne popped the link in with the billing rates. Thank you, Suzanne. Any other questions? How do you confirm payment from a customer through your pay service? And do you accept all major credit cards as we're based in Canada? I think Suzanne's answering this one, but I think what she's going to write is, I believe Skimmer billing is only supported in areas that support the US dollar, which would include the US and Puerto Rico for sure. We do have a ton of Canadian customers who just use us for managing routes and work orders and repairs and service emails that don't actually do their billing through us. Or they can run manual billing as a basis. But she said soon. Any other questions? We've got time for a couple more. Can we still send invoices and collect ourselves? Yes, you can. And if you choose to do that, there's a way to log the payment inside of Skimmer just to make sure that it is accounted for. We do have some customers that have a few of their customers that pay with like Venmo or Zelle or something. My recommendation personally would be to get them on auto pay. Every pro I've talked to that switched to getting their customers on auto pay, it has changed their lives. We had one pro out on the West Coast. He had 22 chronic late payers, and he sent out an email. We helped him draft an email and just said, unless you switch to auto pay, I'm not going to be able to continue servicing you. And 19 of them agreed to do it. And he hasn't had a problem from those folks since. There's two ways to enable auto pay. A customer can do it on their own when they receive the invoice. There's a little box that says enable for auto pay. Or you can take the credit card information and enter it into their customer profile if they've given you permission and enable auto pay that way. Can you give a customer an incentive to pay early? If you say pay by end of month, but get a 5% discount for paying early. Suzanne, do you want to take that one? And feel free to enable your voice if you'd like.
I was going to say, I'm typing so that you all have a record in case you're poor auditory processors like me. But The long and short of it is there's not a neat way to do that. It would be pretty manual. There is a lot of flexibility when it comes to running the invoice generator. It's designed to be super easy and straightforward if you want to just do things automatically, but also highly customizable if you want to add, additional items and discounts and fees and things like that. You're more than welcome to do so. That said, there isn't a feature that specifically supports what you're getting after and is kind of smart in that way.
Velia asks, is it better to start as a work order, then turn it into an invoice?
So
Suzanne, you want to take that and
yeah,
maybe talk about
take this one.
quotes?
I can take this
Yeah.
one too. So we do have a quotes feature. So if your process starts with running a quote, you can then associate it with a work order, and then from there you can also turn the quote into an invoice, and all of those things are associated with each other in the system, so you can keep everything neat and orderly and do things a little more efficiently. That said, when it comes to just work orders and invoices or regular routine service and invoices, the invoice generator, once again, is designed to be super, super fast and speedy. It's going to pull in all the work it knows you completed and generate the invoices off of that. And you already have in your prices, your tax groups, your product prices and things like that. So the fact that your techs are going through their day, doing their service reports, entering in their chems, marking their work orders as complete, running their checklist items, all of that's recorded in Skimmer. And so when you go to run your invoices, you're just clicking one button and boom, all of that work is known to Skimmer and it appears in your invoices appropriately. So yes, it's long and short of it is you start with a work order or routine service, and you turn that into invoices with basically the click of a button.
Thank you for that. Another question, is there a way to automatically add the CC fee? I'm going to let Suzanne answer that, but I'm going to give you a little background first. Some of the credit card processors out there and some states prohibit adding a credit card fee. That said, we are not the boss of you. Suzanne, do you want to tell them how to add a fee?
Yeah,
Which
absolutely.
may or may not be a credit card fee. It could be a technology fee or a processing fee that is not related to your credit card.
Yep. We all know from booking a hotel or a flight or any other service that there's a lot of fees that we're used to seeing, and consumers are pretty used to that now. You can call it any number of things. The long and short of it is it's not gonna exactly be the fee that you're going to pay, and there's not a really good way for the system to know what that fee is because of the different rates. Like we're not, if the customer chooses to pay via ACH, you have one fee. If the customer chooses to pay by credit card, it's a different fee. So in short, there's not a way to say whatever the fee is based on what their what payment method they choose, add that in. But what you can do is add, as Nikki alluded to, you can add a fee of any kind, of any rate. It can be a percentage base. So, say 3% of your invoice, add that as the fee, or it can be an absolute value. So, add $5 or something to, again, like if you're reissuing an invoice and you want to add a late fee or something like that, you can add that. So it's really, really customizable in addition to being very easy. Hope that answers the question.
Bam. Thank you, Suzanne. Yes, it does. This is a good last question. If we want to sign up for Skimmer, how do we do it? Head on over to getskimmer.com, and up in the top, you'll see a get started button there. That said, you can also scan that code to book a meeting. And if you're still with us, I'm sure Sarah would be happy to get you a promo code.
Was just going to say that. Yep. Don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to hop on a call with anybody else to just further go over anything. But yeah, just let me know you were here, and I'm sure I can get a nice little discount code for you too.
Awesome. I want to thank all of my co-presenters and my panelists who is currently in a black screen, Suzanne Reed, for joining and participating today. Most of all, I want to thank all of you for taking the time out of your day to join us. We are here at your disposal. Call us, email us. We're here to help you build a great business. And with that, we'll go ahead and end. Everyone say bye.
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 Yes, Travis, we'll get you a discount code. All right. Take care, y'all. Bye-bye.